Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. We're going to talk about Vechain in the pharmacy industry. And Vechain actually got highlighted in one of the, if not the biggest pharmacy magazine. And they actually did a piece on blockchain and how it can affect the pharmacy market and the medical market. And they highlighted two actual Vechain use cases. This also confirms that Vechain's use cases have actually launched in hospitals. But this segment actually says the healthcare industry and the supply chain industry are always beginning to leverage blockchain track. This is from the actual excerpt from the magazine. This is just not a tweet. This is like an actual excerpt from Pharmacy Times magazine. The healthcare industry and the supply chain industry are already beginning to leverage blockchain to track and manage products and health data. In the supply chain space, Provenance, a supply chain transparency startup, has used blockchain in the 6 months pilot program to track a responsible source of tuna in Indonesia. The company's SkuChain builds blockchain-based B2B trade and supply chain finance products intended to target the global trade finance market. In healthcare, blockchain has been used to launch the Vechain-based intelligent tumor treatment. So Vechain is treating tumors in China's Renji Hospital. We heard about this early this year, which plans to cover the full life cycle management of the tumor treatment process in the hospital. But not only that, Bayer, which we heard about like 3 or 4 months ago, has also used Vechain to launch their traceability platform, C-Secure, designed to capture and track clinical trial supply chain data. So they highlighted both Bayer's use and Renji's use, and these are actually pretty big players. But more or less, this actually gets Vechain out in more of a crowd. So if you look at the top pharmacy magazines, Pharmacy Times does actually rank number one. This magazine reaches an audience of more than 1.3 million retail pharmacists. And remember, pharmacist is kind of like a niche brand. It's not like general public. You're not going to get the same subscription numbers as something like Time Magazine, Vogue, etc. I mean, this is targeted strictly towards pharmacists. So your audience is just like the number of pharmacists. And 1.3 pharmacists is actually a lot. Through its print, digital, and broadcast versions. It provides clinically based practical information for practicing pharmacists. So this is actually an information-based publication. Not obviously it's pharmacy, so it's not really based on hype or anything. These are feature stories and various specialized sections. So this is a feature story that Vechain was featured in within the magazine that covers such issues as medication errors, drug interactions, patient education, pharmacy technology, which is obviously what Vechain falls under, disease state management, patient counseling, product news, pharmacy law, and health system pharmacy. So they're a really big publication reaching a ton of pharmacists, and this could actually get more pharmacies and or hospitals using Vechain. Probably outside the United States for right now, but maybe even in the United States, because there's actually a lot of pharmacists that in the United States that actually read this publication. And if you look at the pharmacy, this is from the Pharmacy Times website. I've opened up, and here's the exact same thing right here. It mentions Vechain-based intelligent tumor treatment. So cancer treatment, obviously, like it's definitely a more of a niche field because like not everyone needs intelligent tumor treatment, but it's a very, very high like value field. Like each case can be worth tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Same thing with what Bayer is doing. So pharmacy may not result in that many transactions because it's not like everyone in the world is using it, but they're very, very much high value transactions that are very much needed for life-saving altercations. A lot of good press and a lot of good PR for Vechain. And if more the hospital industry, we know that a Mediterranean hospital is also using Vechain for COVID tracking. That's more broad-based. That could result in a lot of transactions from news like this. It's news like this from really high-valued pharmacy publications that can influence other pharmacists, other doctors, other people in the medical industry to actually adopt Vechain. And we know that Vechain's making a lot of inroads in the pharmaceutical field itself. We've heard of like 5 or 6 partnerships this year already, and I think they're going to dive into more. The big hospital in Cyprus, one of the biggest hospitals in the Mediterranean region, is using it, and that looks like to be influencing other hospitals to maybe switch towards Vechain. So I think like obviously in China and Asia, Vechain's making a move, but also in Europe, Vechain's making a move. North America is the only one where we don't really hear too much about Vechain, which is a shame because a lot of the money comes from the United States. I think like Probably has to do some with like diplomatic relations. Maybe the CCP just doesn't want them to list on Coinbase. I'm not really sure what's happening there. But even without Coinbase and all that stuff, VeChain is gathering a lot of press and a lot of usage across the medical industry, and it's really good that they got published on a probably like the #1 pharmaceutical magazine in the world. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.